Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast. It's brought to you by ShortTrackExclusives.com. I am your host, Thomas Faddis, alongside two other short track guys, and you know them well by now. Driver of the 07 Can'tQuitFishing.com sportsman, here locally at Five Flag Speedway, and 2021 sportsman champion, Jim Pokrant, alongside Ted Baber. Ted Baber Video Productions, here locally at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. What's up, guys?
Not a whole lot. Just getting ready for the Snowball Derby.
That is it.
Yeah, it's a big event coming up here in December, and there's a lot that we're going to cover over before that. But we want to get into some interesting news now. We've heard recently that there's been some changes here going on at Five Flag Speedway here.
Paving the front straightaway. After the last super race, they actually had a chunk of the track come up. And according to Tim Bryant, the track had to be repaved on the front straightaway because they didn't want the problem. There was water getting under the surface, and it was pushing the asphalt up. And, of course, that track hasn't been paved since 1973 when Wilbur Heaton Construction paved the track. So they're paving the front straightaway, panhandle grading and paving, pave the front straightaway. So it's going to be interesting. What do you think, Ted?
Yeah, that track, the last time they ground it, you could almost see through it. It was really thin, and I've actually got some video as a part of something, a little project I've got following some of the cracks, and there's grass growing up out of the track. I didn't know you had an agricultural facility for a racetrack, but apparently we do.
Yeah, well, it's been needing it, and I've been fighting it, and a lot of us guys have been fighting it because we really don't want to see the old girl. It's part of its personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's part of, you know, who she is, the track, and now we're going to start paving it, and it's going to speed up. Everybody better hang on tight because I think the front straightaway is going to be much faster. And as far as what I'm going through with the sportsman car, is we're probably going to have to stiffen some stuff up because it's where they stopped the paving was right where you transition up off the corner. And if you get sideways and that thing's spinning and it hits that fresh asphalt, it could break a lot of suspension parts. So it's going to be very interesting. Even with the late model guys and the modifieds.
Oh Lord, the modifieds.
The way they spin, oh, Jesus, they run a lot of lightweight parts. Stuff will start snapping. So it's going to be November 20th, the Derby preview is going to be a very interesting day, is all I can say. Bring a lawn chair and sit down and watch the bevy of broken parts. And the other thing, in my opinion, is when we have restarts and starts and everybody goes off into one, you're going to have a lot of grip, and then all of a sudden you're going to lose that grip. Right. So you dive in under somebody too hard and, you know, you lock your brakes and you slide from that old asphalt to the new asphalt, it could cause a lot of problems. It's going to be interesting, folks. I'd stay tuned, that's for sure.
Well, do you think everybody in their stables, see from super late models all the way to pure stocks, are going to get prepared for that, even though some people maybe not listening to what we're saying and not paying attention to the Five Flag Speedway and their changes, they're going to come, some people are going to get surprised, and others are going to be prepared. So it's just a whole mix of things that are going to about to unfold.
Yes, that's why I said November 20th, get you a lawn chair, because it's, you know, we're bringing Brock Gins out, and while I'm thinking about it, and I'm just going to put this out there, the 5-star car is officially for sale. 11.5, race ready. Yep. And it's got a brand new motor, new transmission, everything. The chassis is brand new. It's got 4 races on it. The body's got 4 races on it. Right. Just putting that out there. Anybody interested in the sportsman car? I know we're a good car for sale, isn't it? It's worth every penny. It's got a fresh motor. The transmission's been gone through. We did the rear end. We've done it all. So just want to put that out there for anybody that was wanting to move up to sportsman. I think they're going to run it at the Derby, and it's for sale. Or if you probably walked in there with 11.5 right now, you could probably drag it out of there.
Right, and just give a contact if anybody listening is interested in that.
Contact me at jbp07@hotmail.com or look up Phil Gins, Genz, on Facebook, and he should be able to give you a roll around on the car, and I can give you anything you want to know, and I can give you an address to come look at it. I just wanted to put that out there. Sorry, I didn't mean to change things, but it's just something that popped into my head while we were talking about Five Flags and the Derby and everything. But like I said, that November 20th is going to be interesting, and it's free to sit in the grandstands. Come on out and sit down and watch, because there's going to be a lot of broken parts, I guarantee you.
You're going to bail off into turn one with that extra speed. The front tire is going to hit the old asphalt. The rear tire is still going to be digging. All of a sudden, you're like, Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, you're off the gas at that transition, so you can't get on the throttle probably as soon as you used to. You'll probably have to wait on it a little bit, but you'll carry so much speed through the center of the corner. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's going to be different. Like I said, I'm going to enjoy watching and see what happens, and I'm going to enjoy driving it because I don't care. My foot's going to be stuck like glue, like lead to the floor, and all there is and there ain't no more. We're going to give her hell because I got a fresh motor, and I want to win this snowball and break the track record if we can.
Yeah, track records are always important, and we have that speed payout coming up here in the preview on the 20th, which, Jim, you're going to go after that $200 for that track record, and we're going to get into track records here. And I think when you hear some of these track records, especially the last one that we're going to give out, it would be kind of amazing to you. But we've got some Snowball Derby and Snowflake entries that have just come across, which we haven't mentioned in a week or so. Christopher Tullis, Chase Purdy, Lee Tissett, Hunter Robbins, Kyle Jones, and Zach Telford are all Snowflake Snowball Derby contestants, and they're going to be coming down here with a lot of others that we've mentioned. And it's going to be amazing because of the changes that have gone on with the track and the drivers that are coming in. The ARCA Midwest Tour, which we're going to get into just shortly, which is a very exciting news. The ARCA Midwest Tour is going to bring an army of drivers down here for this series.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, those names you read off right there ain't a slouch in the bunch, son. There ain't no slouches coming to this race.
No.
They're bringing their big guns.
Right, and you just mentioned on track records, and I have a list here of track records, and this might astonish a lot of people. I don't know if you've kept up to date with what track records have been recorded here at the famous half-mile Five Flag Speedway, but the super late model track record was back in 2015 with Ty Majeski with a 16.120.
Okay.
That's moving.
And the pro late model Augie Grill, which was back in December of 2014, which, if you understand, December is around Derby time, was a 16.259. And the modifieds with Donnie Hamrick, back in 2013 was a 17.265. Outlaws with Derek Griffin, which we've mentioned quite a bit. All these drivers we've mentioned quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
It was back in 2018 was a 17.232. Pro Trucks with Grant Thompson, the young kid that's out of Mobile, I believe, has moved on to the Tundra Super Late Model Series. Has the track record in the Pro Trucks at 18.234. And the Sportsman Series with Chad Robinson back in 2018 was a 20.173, which Jim's going to go out there and get his car fixed up and hopefully knock that off and put his name in replace of Chad Robinson.
I'm gonna predict a 19.9.
19.9. Yeah, you like that?
Okay.
Well, if we go to 8-inch tires, that'll fall for sure. If we put 8-inch tires on our cars, we'll be in the 19s, I guarantee you, especially with that front straightaway. But we're not going to do that till next year. Maybe it's just a rumor that's going around. We'll see what happens. Just stinks for me because now I got to buy all new wheels, which Aero wheels, if anybody's priced them, are $90 a piece instead of the old $65 a piece a few years ago.
Right.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, and we talked lastly, but the Pure Stocks. Austin McDuffie back in February of 2021 was a 21.816. And those are all results currently through March of this year, 2021. So the last record that was recorded in the data from the website was a guy by the name of Brian Gerster. I don't know where he's from. I'm sure somebody out there knows, but this was back in April of 2014 in a sprint car. Yes. And if anybody has seen sprint cars at Five Flag Speedway, you can get ready to hear this track record because we have Ty Majeski and everybody we've mentioned around the ARCA Midwest Tour and the Spears Tour out in California. All the guys from like Casey Smith and the Chris Davidsons from Texas, Donnie Wilson and his stable is getting these young kids coming in to run all these late model races. Brian Gerster in a sprint car at Five Flag Speedway, probably flat footing all the way around.
Oh, he was.
With a 13 046.
Yep.
So close, a heartbeat away from the
Yeah,
12.
Ty Majeski with a 16.12.
Yep, that's strolling. I remember back in the day when they soaked tires very heavily, they couldn't get that fast. So it just tells you how much the technology has stepped up.
Yeah. I mean, you got 2,500 pounds pushing down on the main chassis of the car and the nose wing too.
Yeah, them boys strolling around there. I'm telling you, that's biggins. They got some biggins to climb in that thing and do that, because your natural instinct is to take your foot off the gas when you get to the corner, to be able to hold that thing down and trust that car. Because you screw up, you're going to end up out there in the damn parking lot.
Yeah.
So
Well, Ted, I mean, with these changes going on at the Speedway, with this, I guess he wouldn't say a reconfiguration, but
No,
a little
just
surface repaving
refurbishment.
And you doing anything to maybe with your cameras? Is it going to speed up a little bit? Or
Well, I just have to pan right and left. Well, at least pan right on the front stretch a little quicker, I'm sure, and be ready to hang on and see what kind of disasters are going to take place in going into turn one, because there's no telling what's liable to break loose out there.
Are you going to be out there for the preview and just kind of get used to what's
I'll be for the preview. Yeah, be out there. I had a in-car in Dave Steele's car when he was back in these slow 15s, and you could hear very intimately what he was doing with the throttle and the brake to get that.
You talk about a dude with a big old set, God rest his soul. Dave Steele was
Yeah, he was a BA.
Yeah, he was a BA Baracus. He had a set of nuts on him. He could drive that car. I mean, like I said, the first time I saw those cars, when they go down the front straight, when you get that coming off the wing.
Yeah, the vortexes.
The vortex coming off the wing. It's just impressive. And you just love it. It's, but I mean, and it's going to be cool Friday night at qualifying for the Snowball Derby, because we talked about it before. It's nerve wracking, but it's fun to sit and watch the times go, oh, we got the pole, and then, go from there. So it's going to be an interesting deal. And I'm very happy that this year's going to happen. And, we're not going to be restricted, and we're not going to have to wear anything, or we don't want to, or do anything we're not supposed to. And it's going to be a best Snowball Derby we've ever had, I guarantee.
We're going to venture out, because there have been a lot of short track racing and a lot of epic finishes.
Oh,
that, we've been watching and keeping an eye on, and we want to bring to the forefront. And we're going to venture out from the Gulf Coast and the Panhandle, and we're going to go up to Massachusetts at Seekonk. And it's the Pass Series, and they had 3 races up there that were championship format races.
Mm-hmm.
The Pass Series, which is the Pro All-Star Series, they have the North and they have the South, and they have a national championship race. And this is in Massachusetts, was the Haunted 100. And it was a $10,000 payday in the North Series Championship. And Mr. Johnny Clark, which we have mentioned before, comes away with the win.
7-time.
7-time champion.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't given to him either, because he had to make he started pretty deep in the field, and he had to crawl forward a little bit at a time, just make a little bit here and there, and then it came to a really exciting last lap pass to get the win and that championship, and locked up another one.
Yeah. Angelo Belcito, DJ Shaw, which we're going to talk about here just a little bit in another race.
Double duty.
Yeah. And, Trevor Sanborn, Joey Pohl, Joey Dorion, Derek Griffin, and Kate Ray and Ben Rowe were in that field. And we're going to put these replays on the Short Track Guys podcast on Facebook and give you an idea of what kind of short track news that we're putting out there, because we're kind of paying attention to some of the great races and championship contenders that are coming down to the last lap finishes. And man, I think we've been lucky in the last 3 or 4 episodes that we've caught most of those, if not all of them, that have come down to last lap passes and fashion.
Bump and runs.
Yeah. I had to feel bad for Derek Griffith, because he spun on lap 76, and his tires were angry at that point. He faded off to his 18th at that point. It just hated.
Seekonk is another one of those racetracks that's old and the surface is worn, and you got to take care of your tires. And plus, right now with this shortage of Hoosier tires we have, they're not getting cured. They're coming out of the mold and going straight to the racetracks, and that's causing a problem.
Yeah.
So they're not curing like they normally lay around in the warehouse for 3 or 4 weeks and get to cure before they get shipped. They're not doing that, and they're having problems with them. So it's even more important to take care of your rubber.
Yeah.
hitting the ground.
Well, even
running.
though Johnny Clark did win the event, Derek Griffin, if I'm not mistaken, did win the national championship in the Pass Series,
He did.
which is his second championship, national Pass Series championship. His first was in 2018. So congratulations, Derek Griffin. Derek Griffiths, I'm sorry.
Griffith.
Which,
Yes.
yeah, we
Griffin
got
Griffin lives here.
Griffin, Griffin
We
Griffith.
have Griffith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
The
12G
12G
car.
car, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. He's tough, man. Wherever he goes, I mean, you hear his name in New Smyrna, you hear his name in Seekonk, you hear his name out in the Midwest. I mean, he's everywhere. And he's another talented short track driver that's got a future ahead of him.
And going to be here, I'm no doubt.
Oh yeah, and young. He's young. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
You kind of keep up with Five Flag Speedway, and you see some of these entries. You're gonna eventually see some of these names pop up because they're not automatically just going to come in. They have to find the funding
Right.
to
Yes.
get here, so they're not going to file an entry. And some of these guys that we're talking about, they're running up in the Northeast and in the Midwest. They're going to come down. They're not listed because they're finalizing everything to get down here.
Yeah, most super late model teams have a budget for the year. Some do, some don't, and they'll budget. Okay, we're going to run this race, win this championship, take that money, and we're going to buy tires at Snowball Derby. So it's going to be interesting. It's like I said, this is the best of the best. This is the best late model race in the country, bar none, because you're not regional. These guys come from everywhere. They're not racing anywhere else. It's time to come down. It's put up or shut up.
Right.
And it's either bring back a trophy or a dadgum steering wheel. That's just the way the Derby is because you got all winter to fix it.
Yeah.
So you come loaded for bear and do the best you can. That's what makes this race so awesome.
Checkers or records. I mean,
Checkers or records. That's right.
Yeah.
Like I said, bring back the trophy or the steering wheel. I don't care which one.
And a lot of guys do, man. The
Yeah.
infield is littered with just absolutely destroyed cars for that's over.
Oh yeah, last couple of years hadn't been that bad, but I've seen them where the whole inner pit road at Five Flags is lined with cars because somebody does something stupid and they just destroy a bunch of cars. So, but enough with that. What about Ben Rhodes winning the big race? at Seacon?
The Pass ACT, which is ACT is American Canadian Tour.
Yeah.
At Seekonk. They had, this was the second, actually the biggest race. Johnny Clark wins a super late model event in that Pass series, but this is the American Canadian Tour, which Jim's touched on in episodes before that. It's a little different setup, a little different frame kind of style car. We've talked about, Ben Rowe before. In the number 4, Richard Moody and Sons late model passes DJ Shaw, which we just got talked about in the late model race.
Yep.
In epic fashion. We've got that video posted on our Facebook page. I encourage you to watch that because it was epic. Ben Rowe winning.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah, winning
Beautiful.
the Haunted 100 ACT with DJ Shaw, Eric Sands, Vincent Arengado Jr., and Chase Belcher. Ben Rowe is a 10-time now past champion and first ACT American Canadian Tour champion.
Cool. Congratulations, dude. Good job. And that was epic. I mean, you let the guy get under you and he passes you and he just kind of blow in
DJ.
behind him. Boop, boop, boop. Wiggle him up the hill.
Yeah, I
and
think a
drive
caution. I think a caution previous to that, with the 2 or 3 to go,
Right.
really set that up because it looked like he was running like 5th or 6th when they started with 5 to go, and they had a caution came out with 2 on the back straight coming out of 2, and he started on the outside of row 2, and I think the first 2 with DJ Saul, they kind of got washed
rubbed
up
each other
again,
up a little bit,
and
yeah.
it allowed the door open, and Ben Rowe got up there and just did an epic, bump
and run.
Yeah, bump and run.
Classic bump and run move. And then
Yeah.
they banged fenders all the way to the start finish line. And he won by a nose. So it was a great race. I'm sure the crowd got their money's worth watching that one. I'll tell
Oh,
you.
absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And that's one of those that you go back and watch the last 5 laps of that, and it's like, man, that is just, that's awesome.
How did they do that?
Yeah, they're out tearing each other up. That's just hard racing there, and that's good racing.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff we like to see on short tracks right there. Just make it a good finish. Don't dump anybody. Don't wreck them, but wiggle them and keep going because, and you got to do it on the last lap because if you do it with 2 to go, the guy's liable to catch you and do it back to you. So, you got to get him going into 3 and then drive by and win the race. He can, get glad in the same driving shoes he got mad in because you would have done the same thing if you'd have had the chance.
Yep. Everybody would, especially. I've seen it happen before in 3 and 4 at the Derby. Oh, good heavens!
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's going to happen just about everywhere we talk about. I mean, short track racing has just seemed to have gotten better and better and better the last couple of months, actually since July.
It has.
And it just, everybody turns the green light on, and it's like the end of the season. Everybody's on that chase mentality to get to the front, to win races, to win championships, and then be the end of the season, whether they go. And you'll see a lot of these guys that we've mentioned who come down here to spend their week at the Snowball Derby here on the Gulf Coast.
Yep. Well, like I said, you're going to see the best of the best of the best in December at Five Flag Speedway. We not saying that you other short tracks don't have great drivers and everything, but your great drivers come down to our racetrack on like I said, they're going to go as hard as they can to win that $30,000 and that money and that first place snowball trophy and get your name etched in the trophy. So that's pretty dang cool.
And they come with a pedigree and a purpose.
That's right. Because they ain't no slouches. I said it again. I'll say it till the day I die. That green flag drops on Sunday afternoon. It is full of bad, race car drivers.
Yeah. Well, and Short Track Guys podcast is not about slouches. We're not going to talk about, the has-beens and this and that. We're talking about people that are up front winning championships. And we've got another one. And we've got a name that's going to come up that we haven't mentioned this whole season, Will Kimmel.
Yeah.
And this is the Halloween 200 at Salem Speedway in Salem, Indiana. It's another Winchester-type half-mile bull ring. Yeah, high-banked, and really like a two-groove racetrack. And Will Kimmel, if everybody's familiar with him with the ARCA series, came from Kansas in the finale, and then with 47 cars in the field, held off five-time winner Brett Hudson to win the jukebox at Salem. Yeah. And we've got that video also in the highlights posted on our website with Sean Smith and Brett Hudson finishing third, Jeff Caldwell, Alan Williams Jr., which we all thought was like maybe one of Hank Williams Jr.'s sons, but I don't think so. Guitars and race cars don't mix very well unless you're in Nashville. But Alan Williams Jr. finishes fifth there. But, man, I'm telling you, congratulations to Will Kimmel doing that. You go to Kansas and then travel 24 hours and you win a race in a street stock with 47 on a bull ring like that.
And against rim riding special there.
Oh yeah, and especially against a guy like Brett Hudson, who is no slouch in a CRA street stock. Let me tell you something. He's won Nashville. He's won at Bristol. He won the short track nationals at Bristol. And the dude's tough, and Will Kimmel's a good driver, but man, to outrun Brett Hudson in street stock is saying something. And I say street stock with quotes in the air because the only thing stock on those cars is about 3/4 of the frame. The rest of that stuff is basically a late model with a stock frame, and they're bad. I mean, they are fast.
Well, it's a lot of congratulations. Johnny Clark, Ben Rowe, Will Kimmel, and we're going to congratulate, oh my gosh, we've mentioned him so many times this.
That's your boy.
Yep, Derek Thorne, the October Classic 150 at Kern County. This dude has just owned the West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
With the Spears SRL Southwest Tour Series. We had, let's see, what's his name? Preston Peltier set on the pole with a 17.081, but was not quite enough because he was disqualified because of too much left side weight.
Oh.
And Derek Thorne ended up winning the bonus as well as for the night, and it was $10,500. Now that brings his total to $90,700 in the series this year for Derek Thorne. Congratulations, my bro.
Good job. He's going to be here.
Yes.
Guaranteed with two late models, a Alan Turner car and a supercar. Probably sit on the pole for the Derby again because he's had that covered for 2 years in a row, both races. So he's going to be another one that's, like I said, there's no slouches, none. Congratulations on his Spears championship because let me tell you something, that dude gets it done out there.
Right, Derek Thorne and Jeremy Doss finished second. Dan Holtz, Kyle Keller, which is a Rookie of the Year contender in that series. Kyle Kankey, we got some notables. Jacob Gomes finished ninth. Blaine Roca, which we've talked about before, finished 15th, and then Preston Peltier, obviously, with the DQ. Zach Telford was a do not start. I understand that I've read that he's going to be here I think running the Snowflake. I'm not really sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that Zach Telford is going to be here. Derek Thornhead's won his 6th Spears SRL Southwest Tour Championship, and he's coming east.
Well, I'm sure when a few weeks before the Derby, we'll have a complete list of who's going to be here because, like you said, nobody shows up that late and enters. I mean, and not have a shot at winning. You've got to be here. You've got to test here, and you'll notice the parking lot at Five Flags will be full of haulers. Guys leaving their haulers here for the Derby. They'll practice and then they'll just park it out in the parking lot and be ready to go. So it's going to be interesting. And what about your other boy that won this past weekend in the Halloween 150?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up for the finale here with episode 24 with Short Track Guys podcast. And we've talked about this guy, I guess, from really the very beginning when we got started back in April, the Halloween 150. And I kind of made a joke about it a couple episodes ago about the Halloween 150. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize at the Dells, we've covered that with Rich Bickle and Luke Fenhouse and Justin Mundyke and all those guys and Ty Majeski. Well, John DeAngelis Jr. I met him years ago here at the Snowflake, and we were pitted next to him with Junior Niedecken, and they had some engine problems, and John DeAngelis Sr., his father, he and his team went to work. And they had some engine problems and had to change it and couldn't find the brackets and the mounts to get in for the engine. It was probably from a teammate or something from the ARCA Midwest Tour came down, and they really, really scrambled. And I got to witness a team that glued themselves together to make advancements. And that was just a snowflake race.
Yeah.
And he has progressed throughout the years and really, really grown as a driver. And he's up against some very, very tough competition up there in that ARCA Midwest Tour. And he comes away with a win at the Halloween 150 with Casey Johnson, Dalton Zier. And I'm going to tell you, if you haven't seen that replay, you watch that last restart with DeAngelis on the inside and Dalton Zier on the outside. It looked like the 119 tried to kind of upset him a little bit. But
he tried to wiggle him.
Yeah.
Short track racing.
And he did. And he did, and JD took care of it, and he did what he had to do to get the win. Dalton Zier finished third with Ty Majeski and Gabe Summers, and just some notables, just so you know that list of Steve Apel, Justin Mundyke, Luke Fenhouse, Dennis Prunty, Rich Bickle, which we've talked a ton about.
Yep. Won a bunch of good races this year.
Alex Prunty and Andrew Morrissey. There were 26 late models in that field, and congratulations to JD, John DeAngelis Jr. up in Hubertus, Wisconsin. We can't wait to see you guys down here for the Derby, and man, what better time to have momentum going than to win a race like that.
I mean, nobody comes down here just to ride around. They come down here to win it.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is these guys come from that far away, and we appreciate. He's been here at every super race this year. John DeAngelis has, and as a fan, you appreciate guys like that tow from Wisconsin all the way down here to run a regular race, and guys like Derek Thorne that come from California, Jeremy Doss that comes from California. These guys tow a long way to race. And sometimes they go home with junk. Sometimes they come here and do good. And we want to congratulate all of them on their championships this year. And, just get after it, guys. And we look forward to seeing you in December.
It seems like every year some things happen. And now with Short Track Guys podcast, we've gotten more in tune with the things that are the races that are going around in the country and how it really builds up to this event coming in December.
After a while.
And now it becomes even more
momentum, carrying in
momentum, but I mean the prestige.
Yeah, prestige. It's a prestigious.
You don't have Chase Elliott, you don't have Ryan Blaney, you don't have all these guys that have been here.
Chase
done
might
that.
Be here.
Well, you never know, but he's going to be up in the banquet, and we know how that happens when they're up there doing their championship thing in New York, and with Charlie Bradbury and all that coming down with an epic story starting in the back, and having to wheel his way down here in an airplane with the snow in, but you don't see those guys anymore. You're looking at these young guys.
Yeah, and that hurt. Snowball Derby used to be late. There was a big mix, and it still is. But there was a lot of Cup guys that came down before NASCAR changed their banquet, which, NAPCAR, whatever you want to call them. Your races are
NASCAR.
really stinking, and it's sad that their viewership sucks and their stuff's going downhill. And short track racing is gaining momentum, whether it be dirt or asphalt. But the point is, they do things like that to stop these guys from running a race like that. And you got car owners that tell them,
Right.
and
You can't cross the boundaries.
You
right?
can't do that. But I'm going to tell you something. That's one thing I can say about Rick Hendrick, and I will say good about him, is he lets Kyle Larson and his guys race.
Right.
And I would love nothing more than somebody to give Kyle Larson a ride in a super late model at Five Flag Speedway for the Snowball Derby, because he would be awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would not love to see that.
No, yes, I agree. But I mean, Mr. DeAngelis is now coming down. He's got momentum.
Yeah.
He won a race finally, and he's done good. But he's had some bad races, but you know what? He's run good, and he finally wins one, and he wins one in a good way, beating and banging for the finish. That's great. We're glad to have them, and if Ben Rowe and them come down, we'd love to have all those guys down.
Yeah.
I mean, come down. And a lot of them, their seasons are over, so now their budgets, they can sit and look at the money and go, should we go to Pensacola? Let's go to Pensacola.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
Well, the thing, John DeAngelis, not just a race. This was like one of the biggest of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's won races before. He's a talented driver.
And the people
with the Prunties and all those guys, Rich Bickle, he got an enormous amount of talent up there in the ARCA Midwest Tour. But he's going to come down here. He's comfortable with this place. He's been here before. He knows. He's got his notes. Now we can go back to where we first started.
Right.
When Ted Uke got here and we started talking before we went on the air.
Are the notes still good?
Are the notes still good? So
For the most part.
what are the drivers going to do now, knowing that there's a little change? Well, not just a little, but there's a big change on the front straightaway now with that pavement.
Well, we don't know how much it's going to upset. It's probably not going to do anything with steering geometry, but the rear end of the drivetrain is going to start getting stretched.
That's where you're going to hurt. Like I said, if you come off the corner, you're spinning the tires, and you catch that asphalt just wrong, it could bust everything in the drivetrain. You could have a drive shaft sitting in your lap if you're not careful.
Well, and that's not something you want to have happen, especially in front of a bunch of cars that are just growling, trying to eat you up.
Yeah, and these late model guys running gun drilled axles, I think I'd put some solid axles in my stuff, because you could strip one of them off too. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, November 20th, bring your butt out, get a lawn chair, sit and watch us practice, because I want to get on it right now. If my motor was in my car, I'd ask Tim, hey, can I come out and make some laps? Because I want to try it out. I want to see what it's about.
Well, you're going to have to. I mean, because everybody's going to. I think this is going to be the preview of all previews.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It's going to be something big. And, like I said, the late model guys will be down here testing all from here to the Derby. There's going to be teams down here testing. Hopefully we got enough tires. That's, like I said, that's going to be a big question, too. Are we going to have enough tires? Because, the Bryants usually sell a crap ton of late model tires and everybody else. But are they going to have them? That's the thing. Just like that practice night with us. Are we going to have tires to be able to buy two to go for that thing? He may not even have it this year. You never know. But, being the defending track champion, I want to go out there and I want to do my best to break the track record and win the Snowball Derby and, have some fun.
Right.
Yep.
I've seen the result of a snapped axle on the front stretch of another little racetrack a little ways down the road here over at Mobile. Mm-hmm. Ooh, boy, did they pile up some cars behind out.
Well, the bad part about a broke axle is you can flip. Yeah. The wheel bounces you up in the air. Next thing, it comes loose the car and then it catches the rear frame and bounces you up in there. Next thing you know, you're tumbling down the front straightaway and destroying your race car. So let's just hope and pray we don't do that. And let's just hope and pray that everybody has a good practice and the Derby turns out to be awesome, because that's, gotta be for us, gotta be for y'all, gotta be ready.
I think it's going to be everything that everybody expects it to be. And, even with the new names, the new drivers that are coming in, like Justin Mondyke and Luke Van House, a lot of these guys defending champion coming back. Maybe some of the big names, we'll learn about later, but with or without them, it's just going to be, it just seems like the Snowball Derby at the end of the year, when everything's said and done, everybody's got their trophies and everybody gets probably a car in their stable ready for this race just specifically.
Right. Not
just one they brought off the track from Salem or the Dells or, Slinger. They build a car particularly for this race. And so it's kind of like the big time. They bring a car down for this race. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and better every year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Great show always. So,
well, guys, that's going to wrap up episode 24. And it's like I said, every episode, it's always a pleasure to get with you guys and talk about short track racing and go over some of the news and notes and some of the future stuff that we look forward to. And we're going to keep, going at it. And hopefully we bring out some information that's interesting and intriguing and keep people aware of what's going on. And
keep coming back.
Right.
Yeah, keep coming back. And we appreciate you listening. We appreciate your support. Your support is our motivation. And
buy a koozie from us.
Yeah, we got product that's coming in and going out just as fast as we can get it in. And we appreciate that. You look us up on our Facebook page. Short Track Guys podcast on Facebook, and leave a comment and get in touch with these guys. JPB
at JBP07 at
hotmail.com and Ted Baber
Ted_Baber at yahoo.com. We do not have a supply chain problem.
Right, exactly.
Give us a good review if you can, and give us a thumbs up, share us with your friends, and share our Facebook page. And once again, thank you to Turn One Photograph, Eddie Ritchie, for sharing us and getting the word out there for us.
All right, guys. Until next week, thanks everybody listening, and we'll see you guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.